New to the neighborhood, trying to fit in, yearning to play sports, specifically baseball, but not really knowing the fundamentals is the epitome of Scott Smalls. With the struggle to fit in, he comes across a group of boys who eat, sleep, and live baseball on what seems to be an old, tattered baseball field, but to them, it's holy ground. They never keep score, they never chose sides, they never really even stopped playing the game. Some people could call it the dream game. Smalls takes up the courage to join the boys with at first struggling to play the game and most of the boys seeing him as a lost cause. One person in particular, Benny Rodriguez, the team's best player, takes interest in Scotty and wants him to join the team. Little do they both know that would get them all into the biggest pickle they had ever seen. In a pinch and without a ball, Smalls decides to borrow his stepfather's baseball signed by Babe Ruth. That's right, the Sultan of SWAT, the King of Crash, the Colossus of Cloud, the Great Bambino. And while they use it, a mistakenly home run over the fence, and what lies behind that fence is a beast that frightens them all. Can the boys retrieve the ball back, or will Smalls pay the price? Tonight, we get to know why heroes get remembered, but legends never die, as we do a discussion of sorts on the 1993 baseball classic, The Sandlot. This is a John and Jane Doe production, and you are listening to a You're Killing Me, Smalls edition of Just Four Clicks. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Patty B, on a mellow, but at least for me, very wet Sunday morning. With me, as always, is Mr. B Dog, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? How are we doing today?
You know what? I'm excited. This is a movie I grew up with, watching it with my family. Always had fun watching this movie. It is a comfort food, or not comfort food.
Comfort food. I'm gonna eat this
Comfort
movie.
food. But it's a comfort movie for me. It is one of those movies that is just fun to watch. You don't have to sit there and watch it all the time, even though it's better to watch it. You could just sit there in the background, listen to everything, and you're laughing still with it. And this is just a great movie to really cover and to kind of continue doing our sports month. I think this is a great movie that we're going to be covering today. But yeah, let's go over this, Pat. I'm curious to see first. I got two things for you. I want to see if you can guess. Okay, the first one's new to this channel. I want to see if you know where this was mainly shot at. I was
I mean,
shocked when I heard this.
okay. So when I was watching it this morning, I've watched it a couple days prior too, but I was I was thinking that it's probably in the Southern California, like in the central part though. Like I don't think I don't know. It seemed like it's in California at least. Southern California would be my guess.
It actually isn't,
Yeah, I had a feeling.
but you're only a couple states away.
Are we talking Utah?
It is Utah.
Utah, yeah. You know what's funny is I was thinking that too because there's a lot of mountain ranges.
Mhm.
At where they live in that neighborhood. I love that neighborhood too. They did such a good job with a lot of because this movie takes place in the 50s.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
for each movie from here on out, because there's 3 movies in this franchise, don't forget that. There's 3 movies in this franchise. The second one's in the 60s.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's the 60s, yeah. And then the 70s, 80s time frame for the last one, because that's it. The last one is the only time you actually get 2 of the original people from the first one to come in and play.
Oh, that's
Gwen
cool.
and Benny came back to reprise their roles.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Squint, I believe it's been a long time since I've watched the third one, but I believe he's like the mayor of the city.
Oh, really?
hmm And then Benny is he's like on a rehab assignment.
Like he's, going down from the big leagues,
Yeah,
basically.
the recover from injury and stuff like that, so it actually is really good how they did it, but the movie the only reason I hated the 3rd one is because it was one of those movies that took the main premise away with the
Mhm,
beast and everything like that, and it made it more of a home like, a guy loses or gets knocked out, and it's like he transports back in time,
mhm.
and he's back on his little league team back in the city. It's kinda weird. I that's the least my least favorite one out of the 3, even though it brings back 2 of the originals. But nonetheless, but here's the other thing. I wanna see, how much you think the budget was and how much did they gross is the question.
I would say the budget's gonna be around 8,000,000. I would say that they gross probably close to 25.
So, you were closer with the budget.
Okay,
It was 7,000,000,
7, that's not bad.
and they grossed worldwide, roughed up about 34,500,000.
Okay, I wasn't too far. I at least wow, I thought I was too high with the 25, but that's crazy, 34. You
Yeah,
said 34?
it is 34, about 30 roughed up about 34,500.
Man, that's and you gotta think here too, just at the big picture, that's a pretty big turnover for a film that is mainly supported or it's supported by a few big actors, but it's mainly a lot of unknown child actors, right?
Mhm. This was not the only baseball movie to come out that year, but there's one other movie that came out the same year that's pretty known nowadays too.
Field of Dreams?
No, that's 89.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Um, it's 89, but it is Rookie of the Year.
Oh, duh. That went right over the top of my head, yeah. Henry, row, 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 away. Gardner.
Gardner. But the next year you had about 5 that came out. Little Big League, Major League 2, Angels in the Outfield, The
Yeah.
Scout, and
What's up with the '90s and baseball movies, man?
it brings back I
They
think
were they were pumping them out.
I think there was a surge after 89 because you gotta remember what came out in 88, 89 timeframe. You had Field of Dreams, you had Major League,
Major League.
you had all these big name movies coming out that were baseball films. And again, it's and you also had Bull Durham during this time frame too.
Mhm.
So you got to remember all these movies, they're iconic movies. It brings us back to American pastime. It brings
Yep.
us into a sport that everybody can play, everybody loves.
And if I remember correctly, didn't MLB go through a strike in the mid-90s too?
I believe it was during that time frame, 94,
Like
95.
95 or something?
Or
Yeah.
let me see here. Now you got me thinking. That's
Yeah, I
actually a
wanna
good
say it
call.
was like the 94, 95 season, something like that.
MLB strike in 90. It was in 94.
94.
Yeah, so but I think with all these movies and that like this one too, I think we've kind of talked about in the past when we first started this. When you really look at any sports films, I will put baseball up there as one of the best. Like
Yeah,
when you talk
100%. I think there's a big volume of them too, right? There's a lot to choose from, as we'll find out later in this episode.
but there's so many avenues you can take with baseball films too, because I feel like, we've seen like feel good, a feel good story. That's there you go. It's like feel good stories. You have horror stories with baseball. Yes, I would not recommend The Fan, you guys, but it is a movie with Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. But you have
Oh, yeah, dude,
baseball
what?
movie. People forget about that one. It's
Oh,
not a
yeah,
good movie, but it's there. Uh,
it's there for I think it's the good of the bad movies.
Yeah, it's not the best, but like you have like this here, and then you have Angels in the Outfield and Little Big League, who are just feel good stories. They are stories that are just it's meant to cherish those moments. And I feel like with this movie, especially with Sandlot, it is a really good feel good story. It's a whole like full circle story. Like you get those moments where they're all kids and reminiscing on that, but then at the end you have those moments where you have Smalls and Benny have that moment at the end of the film when they're
Mhm.
now adults. It just is a feel good story. It makes you laugh. It makes you, want to root them on during the whole time. It's just a
Yeah,
really good
a lot of good fun moments in this movie for sure. The peppercorn scene.
the pepper. God, I knew you were gonna say it. That would be one of your scenes. I knew
Um,
it. I was like,
there's I mean, there's all kinds of good and, you know, I wanna talk a little bit about Dennis Leary's
yeah,
part in this. This is one thing that always clinged to me when I was a kid, just because I've still to this day, I'm a huge fan of Dennis Leary. Small Soldiers, Demolition Man, the list goes on and on, but this guy was pumping out movies in the '90s, and, he's when you see him on Dennis Leary, when you see him on screen, he's a very notable actor. You know how when you see an actor on screen, you're like, "Oh,
yeah.
yeah," like they just have that look. They're, an obscure yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, and he's one of them. Same thing goes for James Earl Jones. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah.
dude we're talking about this is Darth Vader.
Yeah, this Darth Vader, he was pumping out movies too during the '90s because you had Mufasa that
Was
came out shortly after with
yeah.
The Lion King. You had all he is
He
a
had a
great
really good
wrestler.
theater career too,
Well,
mind
yeah,
you.
on top of it, he was also another big baseball film. You forget about that. He was in Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
He's one of the main people in Field of Dreams. He's probably one of my favorite parts of Field of Dreams because he's just like he goes, "I'll have a hot," like he's all pissed off with them that they came around to try to find him. But anyway, but like having this moment with like that's something I know you and I talked about off screen was how good they got big name actors to come and help, but they were
Mhm.
not the main focus.
No.
They were always support and guiding the kids.
I'm pretty sure and I saw, like, a behind the scenes video that James Earl Jones, I think, only shot for a day on this thing.
It
Like,
don't
he was
shock me.
yeah, they only had him I mean, if you actually, go back and watch it too, I mean, he's only in it for that scene, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because in the second one too, that's all he's in it for. He's only in it for, like, a little bit. He's not in it very long.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's not even in I don't even think he's in the 3rd one. So, I don't think he is at all. But that's why I said, like, even his moments, it's one of those moments that, okay, it's another feel good moment. Like,
Mhm.
like how, okay, they're trying to save the ball, try to get this ball, and he goes, I'll trade you. And he goes, well, we can't, that's signed by Babe Ruth. And he goes, so is this one, plus the whole 1927 Yankees. So it's just those moments that just make you feel good, but you can tell how much they have in common because
Yeah.
he loves baseball and they all love baseball. And so that's why he makes the deal. It's like, hey, look, you come talk to me for, once a week about baseball, and we'll call it even. It just shows you how good hearted he is.
There's,
And
like, a camaraderie there.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a really good film moment there. And I really enjoy that part of it with
It seems almost kinda misleading too, because he seems very intimidating at
yeah.
first, and I think a little bit has to do with the dog or, the beast. Do they call it the beast?
Yeah, I love how they set the beast up so much. Or he's like he jumps over the fence, or like or he just see the head when he grabs the ball. When they get the ball to go over the fence. That
Yeah.
or when he's trying to bite down, I was like, okay, this is a little bit more vicious than what he is. Like, come on.
What's brilliant about this movie too is, like, it has so much character redemption and including the dog, because the dog is this whole time portrayed to be this beast, this evil entity, and then by the end of it, the fence gets put on him and, it's like, oh, now you feel remorse for it, and, I mean, it's so this movie is so well done. I think it's definitely a time relic, I think, for the kind of movies that were being put out around this time. They don't make movies like this nowadays.
No,
Um, which I think goes for me saying this, and we kind of talked about it off air a little bit, but I think that watching it recently kind of made me feel like I didn't want to mesh with it as much as I used to when I was a kid. And being too, it's just I think there was different relatable moments when it came to that. And when I mean, I watched this movie a few times in the last few days just to pick up on it because it's been a while since I watched it, but when I was a kid, I watched it a lot. And when I watched it recently, I just felt like I didn't cling to the things that I used to cling on to.
I think, I kinda get your point there, like, I think, you know let me ask you this too, because I kinda was thinking this too, like, did you watch this with your kids? Because I know that's something big too when I
I
watched it with my mom, because my mom has stated the same thing with me. Like,
Mhm,
she watched it when it first came out, it was good, and then when she watched it when I got a little in the age range to watch it, she says, it just wasn't as good to me.
mhm.
But it's not saying it was a bad movie, it's just not for her. You should I have you watched this with your kids? Because I do
I
feel like
did, and when he came into the living room, I was a little surprised because usually he wants to change it to something he wants to watch, but, I mean, he'll ask me, but the fact that he came in there and he just kinda sat down next to me and started watching it, and he watched pretty much the rest. I think he came into about from the s right before the swimming pool scene, or right when they're getting to the swimming pool scene to the end of the movie, so that's about half of the movie, and the fact that he just sat there with me and watched it, I mean, it's crazy because my son's not very he's not very, old, and you know how young children can be, not attentive as much, and, but yeah, no, I think that's a huge testament to this film.
yeah.
Um,
It's like, I will give you points there, and the reason I say is because you can tell in some ways it's a product of its time. Like,
yeah,
it's not a movie like, if this was made this way, in this way particularly nowadays, I don't think it would go very well because of some of the jokes, some of the things that are said,
mhm,
it just would not hit well.
yeah,
But I feel like I don't really know what cast you could give for a movie like this compared to what we had back in the 90s. Like,
mhm.
it's just so all the kids get along so well. Two of them are Mighty Duck, alums too.
Yeah, and, Ham Porter,
Big Green.
he I would say out of all the young actors in that film, he probably had the most notable career. He was in Air Bud,
Oh yeah, I forget he's an Air Bud.
he's in Son-in-Law,
Yeah, he is. I forget about him. I know he's in The Big Green. That was the only other movie I remembered him.
he's in a bunch. Yeah, he's in a bunch of he's also got that face, right? Man, what's it his name's Patrick something. I think it's Patrick Reina, uh,
I'm looking
sorry.
at. Yep, you're right. Patrick Reina.
Oh, look at that! Go me. Hey, Patrick's no Patrick's, man.
It's okay to call you Patty, right? You go. No, I think with this movie, I kind of see where you're going with it, but I don't. And here's the reason why, because I do have one actor that I would say could could go a little different. Tom Geary, the guy who plays Smalls,
Mhm,
I think he's still acting to this day. And Mike Vitar, who plays Benny, he was big in the 90s.
mhm.
I haven't seen him a lot nowadays, but
No.
he was big in the 90s. That's why I said, like, Patrick Reina, I feel like he it was good. Like, I will put it out here. He is probably my favorite part of this film.
Oh, yeah.
He is the best heckler you can ask for in a catcher. They got his back and forth banter with the other team. You play ball like a girl. And
One
all
of my
their faces are stunned because it's like,
that's one of my favorite scenes. As a kid, that was one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
and like, even when they're playing baseball against the other team, he's sitting there talking smack when they're all at
"You
bat.
play ball like a girl."
Yeah, it's like how he's sitting there like talking it up. Well, I'm just chatting with you. I'm just trying to chat with you. I'm like, shut up. Like, but you could just tell, like, even how the team rides up on their bikes, right? And he throws his mitt down on the ground, starts stomping towards him. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is the guy. Like, this is just a really good movie overall. And there is another big side actor I want to talk about. It is Art Lafleur, who
The
plays
Molinator.
who plays the Babe. Kind of like. That's where you get that iconic line,
Yeah.
may legends may live, but heroes never die. And it's just one of those moments in that film. Well, it changes the story a little bit. It changes how Benny has to look at things
It's
now.
it's heroes get
Oh,
remembered, but
thank
legends
you.
never die.
Okay. It's what changes the narrative for Benny. It's a moment that Benny is this. Now, let me ask you this. This was a question I came up with a lot in this film.
It's almost like a calling card for what his future is.
Exactly. Here's my question to you though. Even though it is from the point of view of Smalls, do you feel Smalls was the main character, or do you feel it was Benny?
Um, I feel like it's like one of those, and there's plenty of movies like that where it's got two main characters, kind of. It's like a 50-50 thing. I think the movie revolves more around Scotty, but Benny, it focuses on Benny from his youth to his adulthood, just like it does Smalls.
Right.
So it's like that gray area, I think. I would say it's probably 60-40 Smalls, if we're talking about main characters.
So I was thinking too about 55-45 time, like framing,
Yeah, yeah,
like it's close.
it's not far off.
Yeah.
It's not far off, but I do think Scotty's character has the edge as being the main character because it shows more of his home life as
Mhm.
well. We got the interaction with his mom egging him on to kinda live a little dangerously. It's summer, have fun, get out there, get into trouble, but not too much. Um, and then, the relationship between him and the stepdad, him and Dennis Leary's character, which is fun. I love that moment when they're trying to play catch. He finally gets him to get outside and play catch with them, and then he gets a black
Yeah.
gets yeah.
Well, like I have an interesting way I can put it this way. I feel like, yeah, I agree with you that Smalls was like the main character, but it wasn't far off.
Mhm.
But Benny was the catalyst of change. He was
Yes.
the person that came up and went, "Hey, come play baseball with us. You might stink, but we're here to teach you."
Mhm.
And having those moments is was a catalyst of change, not only in Smalls, but even the whole team too. And having that moment, that's why I said it's like that's why I brought up that question because I've heard that before from others. Like, is Smalls really the main character in this? And
Mhm.
that's something I have had to look at too.
And if you think about it too, Benny kinda holds that team together,
Oh yeah, if Benny wasn't,
right? I mean,
everybody would be. Yeah, they wouldn't be a
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like, it's such a good moment there with that. It just really is. Like, there's not really a dull moment to me in this movie. I enjoy every part of this movie. It's just a good film, but Pat, I think it's your time. I think you're being called up to bat right now. Yeah. Coming up to bat, it is Patty Bay.
Welcome. This is another segment of Film Face Off. Take me to Film Face Off. Take me to BB Dog. B Dog versus Patty B, and we are picking movies that are from baseball movies. Baseball movies. Shut up. Um,
We're keeping that in.
This is the Film Face Off where we are doing baseball movies and we have a 2-minute time limit. Are you ready, B Dog?
Let's go.
And you go first.
Well, let's start off with the easiest one. Let's get the Sandlot out of the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Major League.
I'm gonna go Angels in the outfield.
I'm gonna go The Rookie,
I'm gonna go with the Pride of the Yankees.
For the Love of the Game,
That's a good one. That's a good one. Little Big League.
Field of Dreams.
That's a good one too. Major League Two.
I knew I was gonna say next. I'm gonna go with Bad News Bears.
That's a good one too. Um, let's go with Major League Back to the Minors.
I'm gonna go with the 2005 version of Bad News Bears.
No, no, come
Yeah, what do you mean? It's
on.
2 different movies.
I hate you, Pat. Rookie of the Year.
Moneyball.
The Fan.
Damn it. Um, The Fan, that's such a bad
It
movie.
is
What
a
the
bad movie, but it is a baseball movie.
Um, Bull Durham.
That's a good one. I had one in my head there for a second. Fever Pitch.
Ooh, good one. That's a really good one. Isn't there an Angels in the Outfield too?
I'm not saying it.
There is an Angel, yeah, Angels in the Outfield too.
No, it's not called that though.
Oh, you're a dick for that. Um,
I know
shit.
what it's called.
We got 24 seconds left on the clock. I'm gonna go ahead and say
Don't be stalling.
40. No, 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 sorry, 42.
Angels in the Infield.
Oh, that's dirty. I think we're out of time, and I think that means that B Dog is our winner of the baseball film face off.
You also have
And
the Scout. You had also had the Scout. You had
and all this.
yeah, all these great movies.
That was pretty good. We got a lot out of the way there, I feel like. Oh, we left a League of Their Own out there.
Yeah, that was one I was
Ah,
shocked you didn't bring up. I was
I
trying to
know.
leave you some low balls or low hanging fruit right there. Like,
Low hanging
oh,
fruit.
right.
And back to our regular scheduled programming.
And it's Kai and Fly Ball. We're back to our regular programming. Pat stinks at baseball. We can't trust him with hitting.
Oh, whatever.
Now,
Whatever.
now, let's go into your likes, Pat, because I know you kind of brought up an interesting point, like you said, with the whole thing of you kind of fell not out of your love for it, but you didn't feel as connected to it. What
Mhm.
were moments that you did enjoy from this movie?
Well, a couple scenes in particular, like I first off, there let's take away the scene real quick. I really love the soundtrack in this movie.
Yeah,
Um, it felt really good for the time. You have tequila,
that was one of the best scenes of the movie.
I think there's a Chubby Checker song in there somewhere. That's very 50s.
Mhm.
It's either Chubby Checker or Chuck Berry, one of the two. But going into like one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is the nighttime fireworks scene, where you have Ray Charles' rendition of America the Beautiful playing. And I'm a huge Ray Charles fan. It's a beautiful moment, because it's like that like how, Scotty's character narrates it, and that's another thing I love too,
Yeah.
and I think that's the adult me appreciating that more, is the narration throughout the film, but he goes ahead and say, there's one night a year, the fireworks would light up the sky so much that they could actually play a whole game and, it'd be visible.
Well, let me
Um
ask you something because you just brought up a good point that you said there. Are you I know you said, like, you liked Smalls or Scotty being the one that narrates the story.
Mhm.
Did you like the first scene of the movie where he comes out and you see an adult man just
Oh, yeah.
walking down that? Or do you
Oh,
wish
yeah.
that was never part of it?
No, I love that. I love that because, I mean, it's like what it reminded me of too when I was younger is it's kinda like Stand By Me. You know how Stand By Me starts,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
He present day, and then we go back in time. He
Yep.
talks about the story, he narrates the story, and then by the end, we go back to where we were at the beginning,
Mhm.
and I love that. I absolutely love that because I get chills, like, for Stand By Me, like, that's a timeless classic. That movie will be around way after we are gone and still be talked about, and I just think it's a nice, formula to get the movie going, I think, personally. Especially, I mean, obviously, not every movie's gonna be like that, but, like, if you're telling a story like that, I think it's a perfect way. Um, we're at Dodger is that filmed at Dodger Stadium?
I think so.
It's
Let
gotta
me
be,
take
right?
I believe one of the shots was in Los Angeles, but let me take a look here. Um,
Have you ever been to Dodger Stadium?
no, I will never go to Dodger Stadium. I am not a Dodgers fan. I am
I
a
went I went I went to a game about 6 years ago there.
Yep.
It was alright. Super old.
Elysian Park, Los Angeles.
Okay, so that's not Dodger Stadium.
But but they were in Los Angeles for a a scene. So, a couple things. So, I would say that's where the park they're doing it there because it's so similar to Dodger Stadium. Um, but it that's why I said, like, okay, but going back to what you were saying there too, what were some other moments that you enjoyed about this film?
Yeah, so we had that, the fireworks scene. I always like when the treehouse scene when Squints is talking about the legend of the beasts and the
Forever.
forever. I mean, dude, that is like one thing. Like me and Mrs. Patty B. That's like the gifts that you get to send through text. That's
Yeah.
always one of our go-to texts, our go-to gifts for some reason. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, forever.
Forever.
They work. How's work going? Forever.
Forever.
And it's for me too, it's like even when we were kids, we were able to acknowledge the fact or the presence of the big time actors, right? And that's another big thing. I know we've already glossed over it, but I just Dennis Leary, man, like I said, that's a really big attachment piece for this movie for me, especially now that I'm older too, and I can appreciate a lot more from that standpoint and just look at the bigger picture of who is involved in this film. Um, I mean, like I said, Dennis Leary is a phenomenal actor. Wasn't he in Does It Rescue Me? That firefighter show he was in, or was that yeah, it was Rescue Me. It was Rescue Me.
Yeah,
Because it's The Shield, and they're both on the same network, so that's even more confusing.
yeah.
But The Shield was with the guy that played the Thing,
Yep.
and then
Michael Chiklis.
yeah, and then he was in Rescue Me. So Rescue Me is a great show. Um, like I said, man. And
Or he's
then
Captain Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man movie as well.
yeah, yeah, yep, he is, and he's great in that, isn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the roles I actually enjoyed in that film. Like, I
Yeah,
wasn't a
me
big
too.
fan of
And
the films, but he was one of the standouts to me in that film. But
yeah,
great
and
casting.
what's funny about that is up until I met you, I don't think I ever really watched those Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. And then when I watched them, because we've talked about them before, we've glossed
Mhm.
over them. Um, but when I watched it for the first time, because he's only in the first one, I believe, right?
Yeah. Oh, here's flashback scenes in the second, but he's only
But
mentioned in
he's
the first.
prominently in the first one. Yeah. So and that's another thing is when I had one of those moments where I was like, when I when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Dennis Leary!" Big pop for me. Yeah, man, you can't. For me, that's a looking at it now, and then also the ending scene I think is perfect for this movie, and I think that goes into how we just talked about. It's starting, you know, Scotty older, but then we go into the story, he narrates it, and then by the end, we see Benny the Jet Rodriguez as a professional baseball player, and Scotty is doing the call on him stealing home. And it's perfect because we talked about it earlier. It's a full circle moment. It's a beautiful part in the movie, and I think it's a perfect ending to the movie because he's still wearing that hat
Yeah.
after Benny told him when they were kids. He's like, "Hey, do another thing, burn that hat." He's like, "You got a fireplace?"
Yeah.
Uh,
It
but and then he looks up and looks at the picture of them, and it's just I think it hit me a little bit harder as an adult because like I grew up in a neighborhood where I had a friend group where we all played outside together, and it's like one of the harshest things about childhood is you never know the last time I mean you never know the last time you played with your neighborhood childhood friends. You don't know when it's the last time, and I think that's the saddest part about it is like you have all these great times, all these great memories, and just to look back on it, it's such a special time in your life, especially if you have the opportunity, because not everyone has an opportunity where they live, and
yeah.
just how everything works, what neighborhoods they may live in. And thankfully I was fortunate enough to live in a neighborhood where we a lot of kids would congregate and we would all, play outside and everything. So, I think for me, that part alone is a huge. It's something I dwelled on watching it these last few days. It's one thing that stood out to me now as an adult, especially now that I have kids, because I want this for my kids, and it's kind of cool. It's just something I never really considered watching it when I was younger. It's everything evolves, right? Everything evolves.
Well, it's like you said, sometimes you grow out of a film, right?
Yeah,
You get to that point where, okay, this doesn't mean as much to you, but now you can show it to your next generation. And I feel like with this movie, it is a good example of what you can pass on from generation to generation.
yeah.
It is a movie that I feel if they ever remade it, I'd be pissed
Mhm.
about it because to me, this is not a movie that needs to be remade.
Man, and we're exhausted with all the remakes, aren't
Well,
we?
yeah, Disney, listen to us. Stop.
Yeah,
Get some help.
yeah.
Uh,
Give us the call.
well,
I'll tell you what to do.
you want me to tell you why? Is it good? Why I say that? Because I believe Disney now owns the rights to it. So
Well,
it's
it's
not.
on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. But
Yeah.
remember, it was made by Fox, and who owns Fox? Disney.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, remember fans, Disney owns The Simpsons. That's why The Simpsons suck nowadays. Not the point. This
Sorry, I never watched The Simpsons to
well,
begin
how
with,
dare
so
you?
I feel I'm not missing
How
anything.
dare you? Anyway, but this movie this movie hits home a lot. This is I grew up with my cousins and everything. We used to have moments like that. We always play outside and stuff. And you bring up a good point. You never know when that's going to happen. That's why I said one of my favorite scenes is the ending. It is the scene where they're going through everybody's lives and having that moment where it's full circle. Like, oh yeah, I've kept up with some of the guys over the years, and in smalls, kind of talking about what they've Squint's marrying, the lifeguard, and they had 9 children, right? Yeah, you know, you have, the pitcher, I can't always remember their names, but you have the pitcher who went and played AAA ball.
Yeah.
You had the guy that had the tobacco with him, right? Oh, yeah, he kinda got mixed up in the '60s, and nobody else has heard from him since.
I
It
d What's the first thing you thought of when they said that?
Oh, that didn't shock me. Like
Well, I was like, did this dude just, like, what was really popular in the '60s? Acid?
Mhm.
Or, did this
Well
guy just become, like, a hippie or something?
that's why I said, like, when they made the second one, it was kinda similar because that's what they did too. It was like, oh, one of them like, "Oh, yeah, they got abducted by aliens. We don't know where he went since."
Yeah.
It's like, "Okay." You
So
know?
and I never watched the sequels to these, and I tend not to with franchises like that, like, when Home Alone got past, I think, the 3rd one, and didn't they make a couple Home Alones after that?
I think there was like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, see, I just no, I'm good.
Like,
I only
the
watched the
sec
3rd one because I had it on VHS as a kid,
yeah, the
but
2nd Sandlot's not terrible,
Mhm.
but it isn't the best either. Like, there's some
Well, it's like
differences.
Major League 2. Major League 2's alright, but it's not the 1st one.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not Ricky Bobby.
the fact that they didn't get Wesley Snipes to come back, and so Omar Epps is his character.
And even, what's his face too, Charlie Sheen, I don't know why I was thinking there. Charlie Sheen's character is kinda dumb in that movie too. I never liked his character in that movie. But anyway, not the point, but what's good the other scene I wanna talk about is the tobacco scene.
Oh,
When
yeah.
they win the game and they're like, "Yeah, we've been saving this," and all of them eat it. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie because the whole time, "Yeah, like he's getting all sick in the middle of it, and then
Uh,
all of
it's
them, even
gross.
Small's reaction was the best. Cause he's like,
Well, what's terrible is I can relate to this because I can't tell you how many times I've tried to chew tobacco, and I just get sick off it
yeah,
every time.
it's very disgusting. I think I've done
I mean,
it once.
I don't mind the taste of it, but it's just the lightheadedness, so it's a lot stronger than like smoking a cigarette or something like that.
Mhm.
So, gets into your bloodstream quicker, right? It's just chewing on it, but I couldn't only imagine doing that and then going on a very not so smooth fair ride.
It that scene stands out to me. The whole banter back and forth between Ham and the other team where they're doing the insults to each other.
Oh, yeah.
That was another big scene to me. Um, the s'more scene and the telling of the story of the beast. That was another thing I want to talk about. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit in the beginning, is how they made Hercules. Hercules was so funny to watch in the film because every time you saw him, it looked like a different dog. So you had when they got the ball to snap over, right? And he just jumps and grabs in midair. I'm like, okay, this is a little dumb kind of thing. And then him vicious taking down the Erecta set that he had and stuff like that. Um yeah, that too was pretty funny. That's why I said, like, just having those moments there. The I'm trying to think, like, the Babe Ruth ball, I know we've talked a little bit about it, but we have not really discussed it. That's pretty much the pickle that Smalls puts him in, is because they lost the ball, or they hit a
Uh-huh.
home run, they lost the ball, so he grabs the ball from his dad's or stepdad's office that was signed by Babe Ruth. And it
There's a lot of good lessons that come out of that too, right? Every action has a reaction,
Right.
essentially.
Well, not only that, this is the most ironic part of it. Who hit the home run to make it go over the fence? It was
Yeah.
Smalls. And when you get that moment, like, "Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. No," and then he's like, "That was my dad's ball, but it was signed by somebody called
Like,
Ruth, Baby Ruth, Babe Ruth," and they all get all pissed off, like, "We gotta get it back." And they do everything in their power to try to get the ball back. Everybody gets together to try to get this ball back. It's just one of those moments, it just feels so good. Like, it's one of those moments that it turns the plot and actually makes it a story. Like,
yeah.
it's like,
Now there's a problem involved,
yeah.
right?
Like, I wish it would have been a little sooner. Like, I get it. It was probably the last hour we got that issue, but it was just like, I get it. They're setting up him being a part of this camaraderie of, children playing baseball and stuff like that. And then he does it because, "Oh, I got to step up and help." And then this is what happens. You know,
Mhm.
it's just a good moment because, like I said, James Earl Jones does play the best role to me out of all the big supporting actors. I get it. You like Dennis O'Leary. I'm a big James Earl Jones fan in this film. I really,
And rightfully so. I know. I mean, I
I like
like I
Karen
said, we
Allen
talked.
too, but I felt like Karen Allen out of the three was less used. It was an actress.
That's Small's mom, right?
Yeah, that's from Indiana Jones. That's from all them. She,
I forgot that she's in Indiana Jones.
mhm. She's in two of them.
Yeah.
She's in
She's in the
one.
first 2, isn't she?
No, she's in the first one and the fourth one
Oh.
because that's who Shia LaBeouf's mama is.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. No, because the second one's when they're in the temple.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. But going back to this though, she was kind of the one that I was kind of a little disappointed with because I do like her as an actress. I
Yeah.
just wish they would have given her a little bit more. Uh,
I feel like her only big scene is with Scotty when she, sits him down and stuff and basically tells him to kinda, like, get out of the house and
do something. Don't stay in your
do
room all
stuff.
day. But like James Earl Jones having that moment, and especially at the end, it was just a big moment. It was one of those moments that you sit there like, "Oh, hey, it's James Earl Jones," like, kinda thing, like, everybody kn
Like, this is the mystery behind this house that has this beast essentially,
yeah,
keeping it and yeah.
and he's like,
Like, so and that's the thing, I love that. There's that whole mystique throughout the whole movie where you're like, what's behind that fence? And, like, that's I thought about that when I was a kid, and it's like,
well, it's them also learning not to judge a book by its cover either,
yeah,
because I think that's a big point too, because Squints is going off what his grandpa has told him. And throughout everything in his life. But even then, when you get that moment, like, you could have just came around and knocked on the door and I would have gotten it for you. And they all hit Squints because it was like, You're an idiot," kind of thing. Like, don't do something like that. it's just one of those moments where, like, you could tell Squint's judged a book by its cover because,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's a beast back there, we can't go back there," and it wasn't nothing. It's a kid that's doing that, but at the same time, it's one of those moments, it's like, yeah, yeah, don't just think because your grandfather told you one thing doesn't mean he's a bad person, and it's just one of those moments because then, like, even then you have that moment where he goes, "Oh, now he lives to be 190 years old in dog years." It's just another good moment because he's out there with his baseball shirt on that says Hercules on it. It's just another good moment. Like, I just really enjoyed James Earl Jones' role in it because that's when you kinda get his backstory a little bit too, that he
Yeah.
knew Babe Ruth, that he became blind because of baseball, and it was because he got knocked in the head, pretty hard. And it's just one of those moments where you can see the love of baseball and in that finally that first like camaraderie to come together and they go, "Hey, we actually have something in common." And then throughout all the movies, that's how he is. And it's just a good moment.
It's a perfect high note in the movie for sure.
It's a good way to end out the film. And it was just a good way to do it. I just there's really like I said, there's not a dull moment for me in this movie. I
No.
never felt like the movie was steadily paced. It was so well done. This is why it's probably known as one of the best baseball films of all time because when you really look at it, it still still stands the test of time, right? It's one of those movies that people are gonna talk about for decades still, because it's just a great film. I don't really have anything else to say because I don't have any bad thoughts about the film.
I don't either. Nothing nothing that really sticks out to me that I dislike about the movie. Like I said, the only thing that was kind of more of a downer for me this go around was just, feeling that I didn't resonate with it as much as I did when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I think a little bit of that got lost with my childhood. And not saying that's a bad thing. I think, like I said a few minutes ago, it's like everything evolves in your life, right? Throughout the stages of life. And I think that's a perfect depiction of this movie. I mean, it's an evolving factor. It's an evolving window. I'm trying to, but you get what I'm saying. Like
You
it's
know,
everything in this movie evolves. Um, it's a great life meaning. Uh, how everything can change and um you said don't judge a book by its cover. There's a lot to take from this movie, and I think that's what's so brilliant about it. And it's just so simple because it's a baseball movie.
well, that's why I said I don't think you could have gotten this in a football movie. I don't think you would have gotten this in any other film. It's a baseball film, and baseball films really have a good track record in telling a good
Yeah.
story. Um, that and boxing, I've always said. Like boxing movies always have a good story to tell too, or fighting movies are always
Yeah.
good stories. Um, but let's go into it, Pat, because I do feel like this is a great way to kind of start heading out of this episode. Where do you rank it on 1 to 10 beasts? I was gonna say, or I was gonna put 1 to 10, or
1 to 10
okay, I got
forevers.
you. I got you. Ready? 1 to 10 s'mores. Where are you ranking it?
Oh, I like that. Well, I'm gonna I love this movie, and like I just stated, it's changed a little bit for me, and I think because of that, I'm not gonna go too harsh on it, but I'm gonna give this one about a 6.8.
Wow.
6.8 s'mores. I know. I was wanting to give it a 7, but I don't think it was worthy of a 7 for me. It is a rewatchable film. You said it perfectly earlier that you can definitely have this on in the background and watch it or listen to it and know exactly what's happening, envision the scenes that are going on. The narrating in this film is fantastic. The soundtrack in this film is fantastic. Like I said, it resonates different with me now. And I think because of that, I think a 6.8 is a good score. It's a good average score for me. What about you, B Dog?
I have this at an 8.7. Now,
Okay.
I'm not gonna rank it as low as you. Like, you're killing me, Smalls, with that ranking.
Ah,
Uh, but I feel like with this movie, I get where you're coming from. Once you get older, it's harder for you'd kind of feel that way. But I also feel like it's like we said too, it's a movie that's supposed to be passed on to the next generation.
The
A
youth, yeah.
movie it's a movie targeted towards the youth. It is targeted towards that. It's great nostalgic feelings for us, but for the new generation, it's gonna be something.
Well, and that's also because this movie came out I mean, this movie came out a year before I was born, a couple years before you were born, and we grew up with it.
Yeah,
It's not it's I feel like it hits differently with the youth today watching this movie, right?
I agree with that part. Like, I feel like with this, like, I'll put it out there, and this might be a hot take. Um, I watch another baseball movie more than this, and that's just because that's my comfort movie, and that is Angels in the Outfield. I do watch that movie on a regular basis. It is a movie that I can probably cite word by word, and just because it's just a good feeling movie, and not only that, it's a very comfort movie for me. Like,
Well, the greatest thing about that movie too is looking back on it now because how much
there are a lot
everyone's
of big name actors in that movie too, and people.
yes, and that's the thing is everyone that's in that movie, like the careers that if you look at it from a farther spectrum from time and seeing what it looks like now, and you're like, holy like Matthew McConaughey and Neil McDonough, like,
Adrian
dude,
Brody's
what?
in it.
Adrian Brody?
Yeah, with
Um, and
Tony
then you had
Danza,
the
yeah, it's
and then you had Danny Glover as one of the main characters,
and
and Danny
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the main kid.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's the main kid, Taylor Negron, who was notorious for some of the best 90 movies in the '90s.
Ben Davis, one of the best Western actors, or one
Yeah,
the constant Western actor.
Dermot Mullaney.
Yeah. But that's why I said just as that movie overall it stands the test of time for me. It is a great movie. You wonder why Disney Plus didn't want to put it on the streaming app for a while because of the loyalties they have to pay for that film are yin yang for something like that. Because not only are you paying Donald Glover and Tony Danza and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you're also now paying Matthew McConaughey's loyalties. You're paying
Alright,
Adrian
alright, alright.
Adrian Brody's loyalties, you know, that
You
and
see this baseball just gets hit right there, and it goes
well, like two of those names, really 3 of those names, I believe, are Oscar-winning actors.
yeah.
So they're
Well, yeah, Adrian Brody just won an Oscar.
yeah, that's what I said. Well, he's won an Oscar before,
He's yeah, for the piano, didn't he?
The Pianist. Mhm.
Pianist. I
And then
said the
Matthew McConaughey's won one as well for Dallas Buyers Club.
yep.
But yeah, other than that, I think this is a great way to end out the podcast or end out the episode. Fans, thank you guys for listening. Check us out, J4F Podcast, on Instagram and TikTok at J4F Podcast. You can also check us out on Spotify and YouTube. If you like this content and you want more of it, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that bell notification so you never miss an episode. Without further ado, I turn it over to Patty B to take us out.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for joining us on, a nostalgic film for the both of us. I think this was a special one. I had a great time talking about it. It was fun to reminisce. Thank you, B-Dog, as always. And remember, we do it just for flicks.